Everybody, Michael here from, well, I'm doing this video for Replica Airguns and Get Fit Over 40. Might as well, it's not airgun related, it's not really fitness related, so just a little update what's going on this week. It's been like 4 years since I've been sick, and sometimes you get to the point where you feel like you're almost impervious to illness. But, I know that's not a realistic way to think. I knew that my time would come, something would happen, and I kind of, in a sense, wanted to get Omicron maybe because it's the lesser of the. If you're going to get COVID, from what everyone's talking about, Omicron's probably the best one to get in terms of less severe illness and all of that, and potentially actually giving you the best immunity all around to all the previous versions and all that too. So it's kind of like a natural vaccine going throughout the world, kind of hitting everybody. And like I hadn't been hit with anything in like I said, for 4 years. Hadn't been hit with anything, not a sniffle, not a cold, not a flu. My family's been sick through COVID like 4 times. They were sick actually in December. I think they might have had Omicron. And to be honest, I don't know where I got it from because like I wasn't around anybody that I know of that was sick. I wasn't really being super exposed to anyone that I thought would be sick. I don't really limit myself. I don't limit my life too much. I get out there, I do my thing, I go to the gym, we socialize a little bit. I just let things happen as they happen, right? If you're going to get sick, you're going to get sick. You let your body do what it's supposed to do, and that's what it's been doing. It's been getting me through it, right? So I thought I'd talk a little bit about what happened to me with Omicron. I don't know for sure if it's Omicron. I haven't been tested for COVID. I will be following this up with a video. I do have an antibody test kit coming, but you got to wait about a week or two after you get sick to check those antibodies because your body has to start producing them. So I have to wait a certain period of time. Might be about a week or two after I'm better, just to make sure I got the antibodies. So I'll be checking the antibodies if they're for COVID antibodies to see, where I stand and if this was COVID or not, or maybe I could have got COVID before and just was asymptomatic. But I'll know if I have antibodies if I've come into contact with COVID at some point. I'm pretty sure this is Omicron. Just based on the symptoms being basically on Monday was the first that I felt something might be going on Monday night. Just a little phlegm, a little extra phlegm in my throat. There was nothing other than that, a little bit clearing my throat a little bit more. Almost like, sometimes you have an allergic reaction to food and you get a little phlegm sometimes, like if you're allergic to milk or something, you might, drink something and you get a little phlegmy. That's kind of what it was like. The next day, same thing, woke up, phlegm, a little bit of phlegm, wasn't really worse, wasn't any better, hadn't gone away though. And then I even did a workout in the afternoon. Now, the place where I went and worked out is pretty wide open. There's not really a lot of people there. I was pretty much keeping to myself and we hose everything down. So I don't think I infected anybody there because I wasn't really symptomatic, so to speak, of coughing or anything like that, or you name it. I wasn't feeling rough. I wasn't feeling anything. And then a little bit after the workout, starting to head into the evening around dinner time, because I worked out in the afternoon, dinner time is when I started to feel the body aches more or less. And it just felt like, like I'd done a really harsh workout and all the things that I'd worked out on Monday were just really sore and my lower back was sore. And I thought, okay, well, it's a bit of DOMS from the workout, but it's a little more than that. So something's going on. And then as evening came, I started to notice a bit of a sore throat, slight sore throat, a little bit more congestion, not really in the nose, but in the throat. I haven't really been getting congestion in the nose or anything, or like sneezing or in any of that. It's all been in my throat, not my lungs. More like the Omicron thing. It stays in your bronchial area. And then that night I started to get the chills. So I went to bed that night, and while I was climbing to bed and I was feeling the chills, I just wanted to get in bed and get warmed up. But I warmed up pretty quick. The chills weren't bad. The body aches weren't terrible. Neither one was over the top. They were fairly basic. And then I did sweat a fair bit that night. I did wake up sweaty, pretty sweaty at certain points that night. So definitely must have had a slight fever. I didn't check my temperature. The next morning, still basically it was mostly the sore throat in the morning. Really, the sore throat's probably been the worst, and it's been a really bad sore throat. It's been really, like hard to swallow. I don't even want to eat because, it's almost, I wouldn't call it strep throat as severe. Like strep throat is more like a real achy feeling, and you just think about swallowing it and it hurts. This wasn't as extreme as strep throat, but it was pretty close. It was near that. It's been very tender. It's starting to get better now, but definitely the sore throat was probably the worst of all the symptoms I got. And because of the coughing and the clearing the phlegm with a sore throat, that man, it's like razor blades in your throat every time you cough a little too hard, right? So that really sucked. And that day, other than the sore throat and the phlegm, no headache or anything like that. I don't really think I had a fever that day. I did notice a little bit of body aches come and go, but not as severe as the first experience the first day on Tuesday. And then a little bit of chills once in a while, but not as much again as on the Tuesday. So Wednesday was pretty lightweight. And then Thursday, I would say, excuse me, I would say on Tuesday evening and Wednesday evening, or Wednesday, I was a little tired. I didn't have my normal typical energy. Now, was I exhausted? No, I wasn't exhausted. I was just not as energetic. Obviously, didn't feel like doing much. I didn't even go for a walk on either of those days. I just thought I'd stay home, just rest it off. Because to be honest, like I wasn't getting a lot of sleep because the sore throat would just wake me up, keep me awake. And then the coughing and just having to clear my throat and all that was, keeping me up. So I didn't get a lot of sleep both of those nights. So Thursday, pretty good day, other than the sore throat, that stayed throughout the whole day. Sore throat, the coughing and the clearing of the throat, but no body aches, no headache, no chills at all on Thursday. And I slept a little bit better last night. I think a little better. The throat wasn't quite as bad last night. So maybe got a little more sleep, but it was hit and miss. I'd wake up a lot. And then today, other than like the sore throat isn't as bad, but I've still got this cough. I typically anytime I get anything where I'm clearing stuff out of my lungs or my bronchial, I tend to cough a lot. It tends to irritate my lungs. I just get this tickle, almost like a whooping cough. And there's been many times when I've actually had to go to the doctor and get basically like an oral spray that relaxes the lungs. It's similar to what you would have if you have an asthma condition. It just relaxes the lungs. And that tends to break the cycle of coughing for me if it continues on. But I think I've got it under control. It's not as bad. I'm just trying to not cough because it hurts. And so we're there. We're coming out of it. Went for a walk today with the dogs and the wife, staying away from people still until I'm clear of this for sure, for a few more days, obviously. I probably won't really be seeing anyone for maybe another 5 days just to make sure that I'm clear of anything. But that's been my experience. Was it the worst flu I've ever had? Absolutely not. Was it the easiest? No. It was probably one of the worst sore throats I've had, other than when I did have strep throat once. That was really bad. But for a regular flu type sore throat, it was probably the worst one I've ever had. In terms of body aches and fever and chills and headaches and all that other stuff that you get, and just being super exhausted, it was very mild in terms of those things. But again, much more in terms of phlegm, lots of phlegm in my bronchial. So it's like always I'm just basically bringing up just sort of, all the time something's coming up out of my bronchial, right? Not in my lungs, because my lungs are pretty clear, but my bronchial. And so there's been a lot of that. So those two things were the biggest for me. All right. So I haven't got my antibody tests yet. I'm getting a 5-pack. So we're going to check out the whole family and see if we've been exposed to COVID. I'm pretty sure we have. I mean, who hasn't at this point, right? So, yeah. So no big deal. I'm sure for some people it might be. Just if you're one of those people with comorbidities, you're older, you've got, immune system issues, whatever. Maybe, you've got a weak immune system there's a lot of reasons, right? Then be careful out there, right? But if not, if you're young and healthy and you feel like you got everything going right, eat right, exercise, all that stuff, I don't think it would be the end of the world for you if you got Omicron. It would protect you from, potentially future versions of this mutation that's going to happen, I'm sure, over and over again for eternity at this point. But hopefully the Omicron, gets us into that whatever they were calling herd immunity. let's hope it gets us that herd immunity that everyone's talked of. That would be really wonderful, wouldn't it? We can all kind of get back to life. All right, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Check me out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for both channels, Replica Airguns and Get Fit Over 40. All right, until next time, take care.